So I am going to look at a back squat, and I'm going to look at a back squat in all three planes. So with the power bag up on my shoulders, my elbows are in front to make sure that my shoulders are safe and they're not in any pain as I do this. Feet flat on the floor. We know the squatting pattern and the squat itself, in this case a back squat, works glutes, quads, hamstrings, but it's the most dominant lifting pattern. Great to do with a power bag in a back squat or a front squat position, which we'll get to a little later. So this is nice because I get to use my elbows as a marker. Feet flat on the floor, I sink my hips back, so flex at the hips, lower the hips towards the ground whilst bringing my elbows down to meet my thighs. Okay? If I'm a 90-degree squatter, this is the marker that I use. If you're a deep squatter and you want your body to go as low as you can to the floor, your hips to go as low as you can, and you don't have any knee, ankles, or hip pain, squeeze the elbows together and bring the elbows down inside of your knees, driving back up through the heels to the top. Looking at a frontal plane version of this back squat. In a sagittal plane, I bring my elbows down to meet my knees, or just inside of my knees. In this frontal plane variation, where I'm looking at a little bit more hip AB and AD duction, same out of my knees and my feet, I'm going to bring either elbow to the outside and inside, respectively, of my left knee. Both feet flat on the floor, sink my hips back, shift my hips to the left as I flex them down. So there's a subtle, very subtle, but in vision, so it looks subtle, but there is a lot going on through my core and my glutes here, my adductors, abductors, as I'm shifting to one side, whilst trying to maintain both feet flat on the floor as possible. Looking at the transverse variation of this back squat, I'm going to take my right elbow and aim to meet my left knee as I sink into this squat. I'm going to get my right foot to collapse in, my left foot to collapse out, so working inversion and eversion effectively. I'm going to get my both knees to move in opposite directions. Okay, as they both flex, one's going to move to the left, the other one's going to move to the right. I'm going to get a little bit of AB and AD duction at each side of the knee, the medial and lateral line. And my hips are going to twist as well. So I'm going to collapse my pelvis onto my left femur, and it's slightly going to move away from my right femur, but a little slower. So here we go with the transverse squat. Desperately trying to maintain a flat or neutral spine, both feet flat on the floor, to engage everything I need to work through this twisting or rotational or transverse back squat.